In the field of computer networking, a URI scheme is the top level of the Uniform Resource Identifier naming structure. All URIs and absolute URI references are formed with a scheme name, followed by a colon character, and the remainder of the URI called the scheme-specific part. The syntax and semantics of the scheme-specific part are left largely to the specifications governing individual schemes, subject to certain constraints such as reserved characters and how to escape them. URI schemes are frequently and incorrectly referred to as protocols, or specifically as URI protocols or URL protocols, since most were originally designed to be used with a particular protocol, and often have the same name. The HTTP scheme, for instance, is generally used for interacting with web resources using HyperText Transfer Protocol. Today, URIs with that scheme are also used for other purposes, such as RDF resource identifiers and XML namespaces, that are not related to the protocol. Furthermore, some URI schemes are not associated with any specific protocol and many others do not use the name of a protocol as their prefix. URI schemes should be registered with IANA, although non-registered schemes are used in practice. RFC 4395 describes the procedures for registering new URI schemes. Generic syntax. Internet Standard 66 Autom and Principe Dobras defines the generic syntax to be used in all URI schemes. Every URI is defined as consisting of 4 parts, as follows. Scheme name hierarchical part. Query, fragment. The scheme name consists of a sequence of characters beginning with a letter and followed by any combination of letters, digits, plus, period, or hyphen. Although schemes are case-insensitive, the canonical form is lowercase and documents that specify schemes must do so with lowercase letters. It is followed by a colon. The hierarchical part of the URI is intended to hold identification information hierarchical in nature. If this part begins with a double /, it is followed by an authority part and a path. If the hierarchical part doesn't begin with it contains only a path. The authority part holds an optional user information part, terminated with @ a host name, and an optional port number, preceded by a colon. The path part, if present, may optionally begin with a single /. It may not begin with 2 characters. The path is a sequence of segments separated by a /. Historically, each segment was specified to contain parameters separated from it using a semicolon, though this was rarely used in practice and current specifications allow but no longer specify such semantics. The query is an optional part, separated by a question mark, that contains additional identification information that is not hierarchical in nature. The query string syntax is not generically defined, but it is commonly organized as a sequence of key=value pairs, with the pairs separated by a semicolon or an ampersand. For example, semicolon, key 1 = value 1. Key 2 = value 2. Key 3 = value 3, ampersand, key 1 = value 1 and key 2 = value 2 and key 3 = value 3. The fragment is an optional part separated from the front parts by a hash. It holds additional identifying information that provides direction to a secondary resource, for example, a section heading identified by the remainder of the URI. When the primary resource is an HTML document, the fragment is often an id attribute of a specific element and web browsers will make sure this element is visible. Examples: the following figure displays 2 example URIs and their component parts. foo, username password at example.com 8042 their index DTB. Type = animal and name = narwhal nose, \/ \/ / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / / user info hostname port query fragment, scheme authority path interpretable as keys, name hierarchical part interpretable as values, path interpretable as file name, earn, example animal ferret nose interpretable as extension. Path, scheme Name user info host name query, ///////////////// mail to :username@example.com. Subject equals topic. Official IANA registered schemes. The official URI schemes registered with the IANA are as follows: unofficial but common URI schemes, use in browsers. Internet Explorer will allow one to type URIs with non-HTTP schemes into the address field. Chrome will not, but will correctly allow non-HTTP schemes and anchor elements and iframes, where applicable. References. External links, official IANA registry of URI schemes, more information, including many more schemes,